Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
We don't know what to do if we don't ring the bell, do we? For those of you I haven't met, I'm the Reverend Jennifer Brower, and on behalf of my colleagues on the ministry team, the Reverends Natalie Fenimore and Ned White, and our student minister, Nancy Reed McKee, it is my privilege to welcome you this morning. May this gathering be an opportunity for each of us to tune in to the Spirit of life, which dwells within us and between us and binds us to all living creatures. If you are a newcomer or visiting with us today, know that we're very glad that you've chosen to be here, and we look forward to getting to know you. As you're getting to know us, if you'd like more information about Unitarian Universalism or the many ministries and programs of this congregation, we invite you to complete one of the visitor information cards, the newcomer cards, which should be located in the pew just ahead of you there. They're blue cards, and they can also be found out at the welcome table in the lobby. Once completed, that card may be placed in the collection plate as it is passed around later on in the service, or it may be given to one of the volunteers at the membership table out there, the welcome table. Immediately after this morning's service, we'll reconvene in the social hall for coffee and conversation and our UU Cafe, where lunch can be purchased for a very modest price. We hope you all will stay on this beautiful day and enjoy some coffee and conversation, if not lunch too. But we do hope that members of the congregation will stay not just for lunch, but for our congregational meeting, which will be held immediately after the UU Cafe. If you are a newcomer with us today and would like to stay for lunch, know that we would like to treat you to lunch. So if you would, please stop by the welcome table and receive a guest ticket to the UU Cafe. We'd be delighted for you to join us. Friends, now before we move a little farther into our service, I have some announcements to share with you, and I invite you, if you wish, to turn to your order of service, which is pretty spectacular looking today, I will say. You know, I went on sabbatical and I came back and everything had like blue skies and fluffy clouds, and I'm not quite sure what happened. But it's lovely. It's very lovely. Of course, you'll find in the back of the order of service all sorts of announcements about the programs and ministries of the congregation, and I'd urge you to hang on to this and take a good look at those and see what there speaks to your heart and come be part of all of these different programs and activities. But there's a calendar for the week ahead, and that is an important thing for us to pay attention to because things do change. We see that there are some cancellations and there are meetings added, and important for us right now are our congregational meeting today after the UU Cafe. That's at 1 o'clock today. And our service next week, which will be led by the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, who is the current Unitarian Universalist Association president. So she is the president of our tradition at this time in history, our first president as a first woman president, and we'd be delighted for you to be here to hear her preach next Sunday. So there are lots of other good things there, so please do remember to take a look at that before you leave the building today. This morning's service in honor of Women's History Month is offered by many members of the women's group of our congregation. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the group for their ministry with us, not just today, but especially today. They do lots of wonderful work throughout the year, and their group is very, very large. The board is very, very active, and we give thanks for their service to our congregation all these decades, and today particularly. In a moment, I'll invite Judith Wiley-Rosette, the current president of the women's group, to come forward and assist in our chalice lighting. But friends, would you join with me now in just giving a round of applause to the women of the women's group? I would be remiss in not mentioning their partners, male and female, who have supported the members of the women's group through their many hours of service and have wondered and said, "Where are you? Are you still in the meetings?" So those folks have been very supportive and encouraging, and we give thanks for them too. As we settle into this time together, I share with you some words to open our service from the back of our hymnal. They are listed as anonymous, but held by all of us. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but are connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We kindle the flame of our chalice, symbol of our faith, to set this time apart as sacred and other time. Thank you, Judith. It's okay, come on over. It's okay. We have many moving parts today. One of them is the pulpit. Come on over here. We have a lot of height disparity today.
Please rise in body or spirit to join in these words and songs of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other.
Please be seated.
Life could be a dream. Just imagine saying Shazam, and you are instantly changed into an individual with superpowers to fight injustice and overcome the troubles of the world. Just reading and or listening to the news every day makes one's head spin. How do you go about living your so-called normal everyday life with all of these random acts of terror happening all of the time, anywhere in the United States? How can people behave this way? And that is without considering news on the global news, the daily tweets and edicts on a national level. How does one stay grounded without taking on both sadness and fear? In one of the first stories of the Western Bible, humans were bounced out of the Garden of Eden, a parable to emphasize that life is tough. There is no paradise on earth, leaving us searching for our own utopias. Everyone, at some time in their life, feels the need to be rescued from something or another. And then, fictionally, we are offered hope. Through commonplace humans like genial, easygoing Clark Kent, who need only dress in his familiar Superman suit attached with cape to fly through the air, assuming superhuman powers. Or there's young Billy Batson, who's speaking the magic word, Shazam. That's an acronym calling on historical gods Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury to transform him into the costumed adult Captain Marvel, powered with superhuman strength, flight, and other abilities that he uses to eliminate the danger to help make the world a safer place for you and me, for people like us. Really potent for a child to imagine that these are the powers he can someday have. And then, amid all of these prototypes, a woman was introduced, Wonder Woman. Not only was she physically strong to triumph over the enemy, but sexy looking also, OMG. Personally, as a comic book reading child, she offered a womanly strength that I could aspire to. There is a Wonder Woman in each of us. You just have to learn how to bring her out. Societally, superheroes play an important role, but the reason why isn't always clear. Scholars offer an explanation. In theory, superheroes sublimate the fears and anxieties of the time period. Society projects those fears and anxieties onto the villain, and the person enjoys a cathartic experience of seeing the superhero overcome these challenges. Through this narrative, a person can feel that individual as well as world troubles can be overcome. It gives us hope. To think that there are people like that out there, not afraid to speak out, that become the hero, to rise up and save everyone, where government and other institutions cannot. Superheroes are strong, successful, and able to make the best of any circumstances. Is it any surprise that our society is fanatically embracing a superpower craze? Not only seeing the movies and TV shows, but dressing up in the various costumes. It's a form of wish fulfillment fantasy. We hope for better days. Superheroes have become an important part of American society, and it is predicted that because of their adaptable nature, they will continue to be around for some time.
Superheroes. Superheroes. They stand for something bigger than the superheroes themselves. They stand for justice, truth, freedom, honor, integrity, decency, and courage. It's no secret that women in film are often given one-dimensional, lackluster, or demeaning roles. 2 recent superhero movies have broken the stereotype. Stop perpetuating the demeaning roles of women. Wonder Woman and the Black Panther movie happen to be 2 of these movies. The Black Panther movie portrays strong female characters and gives us a lot to reflect upon. Wonder Woman is a descendant of Amazon. She is depicted as one of the Earth's most powerful defenders of peace, equality, and she is a member of the Justice League. Wonder Woman is multidimensional. She's smart, strong, and beautiful. One message in the movie is that true beauty and strength comes from within. It comes from your values and your morals. Diana always strived to do the right thing. Wonder Woman stood for women's empowerment, as well as speaking and living truth. She's often depicted by her iconic lasso of truth, and she uses this to gain knowledge and elicit the truth in her fight for justice. She was courageous, and represented all-encompassing love. Wonder Woman is unlike any other member of the Justice League, who, by the way, are all men. The Justice League consisted of Superman, Batman, Cyberman, Aquaman, the Flash, and the Green Lantern. Many people didn't know that Wonder Woman also possessed 15 powers that the Justice League did not possess or master. Some of those were telepathy, immortality, and she possessed amazing melee skills, and she was the only one to own a sword. Now, while we're not Amazons, and we don't possess 15 amazing, extraordinary superpowers, we can, each of us, live in truth, justice, and love. The new movie that in the past few weeks hit the theaters and took the box office sales to the stratospheres is the Black Panther movie. The Black Panther movie is set in futuristic Africa. The women in the Black Panther movie are portrayed as powerful, intelligent, and are highly respected. They are philanthropic. They fall in love, but they do not let love define them, and they do not adhere to the modern trappings of the beauty standards. One of the differences in Wonder Woman versus the Black Panther movie is that Wonder Woman is an Amazon warrior. And as you know, the Amazon women dressed in scantily skimpy outfits and at times was seen as sex objects and symbols. The female superwoman, the superheroes in the Black Panther movie, they are not scantily dressed. They wear sensible flat shoes, and they could rock the bald head look. The women in the Black Panther movie are not seen as sex objects, even though they radiate beauty. They are treated as equal by the men. Several female characters in the movie displays extraordinary strength and abilities. But what sets these women apart are these women are intelligent. They are scientists, they are spies, they are leaders, and they have infinite wisdom. Many children see themselves in this Black Panther movie, and they want to emulate the characters. Young women, especially Black young women, are excited with the Black Panther movie. They have finally begun to see themselves in a very profound and powerful way. The movie shows that anyone can be anything. Women can head up armies, hold power, be intelligent. They can be scientists, mathematicians, be Black, be bald, and they still can be superheroes. In these two movies, women support each other. They work together in mutual respect. The Wonder Woman movie helped change the way children, teens, and even adults see how they could become stronger and break through the barriers and the stereotypes. After viewing the Wonder Woman and the Black Panther movie, you will begin to realize how much more effective society, our society, can be if we allow all women the freedom to explore and fulfill their potential.
What can we learn from examining the history of Wonder Woman and Black Panther comics and the role of magical powers associated with ancient religions to right 20th century injustices? The Wonder Woman comic was created in 1941 by William Moulton Marston, a Harvard-trained psychologist, in response to concerns that Superman in the 1938 comic launch and Batman in 1939 were becoming too violent. Seeking a family-friendly solution, DC Comics hired Marston, who recommended a female superhero with powers related to love and truth and beauty to inspire and sell comics to girls. The early Wonder Woman comics featured her as participating in military intelligence in the battle against the Nazis during World War II. Strongly influenced by the women's suffrage movement, Marston wanted to create a feminine character with all the strength of Superman plus all the allure of a good and beautiful woman. He once admitted, frankly, Wonder Woman is psychological propaganda for the new type of woman who, I believe, should rule the world. Wonder Woman has become a feminist icon, and she has been featured on the cover of Miss Magazine 3 times. Gloria Steinman, a huge fan, complained to DC Comics when writers stripped the heroine of magical powers. The DC Comics publisher restored them. The United Nations named Wonder Woman as the ambassador of women's empowerment in 2016, in conjunction with the launch of a new Sustainable Development Goal campaign. The goal of the campaign was to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls by 2030, sorry about that, not going back in time. The announcement coincided with Wonder Woman's 75th birthday and a new Hollywood super production about the comic book character. However, the Huffington Post reported that the appointment was met with a great deal of criticism. The article noted that while the fictional feminist icon has long been a representative of strong, liberated women, her Western appearance, sexualized image, and unrealistic beauty were alienating to women in many parts of the world. After receiving a petition of over 44,000 signatures, the UN canceled the controversial appointment.
The UN Women's Empowerment effort shifted from using Wonder Woman and magical powers as an icon to an image that illustrates the goal of achieving gender equality by 2030. But the Her Story Empowerment campaign focuses on equity and access to education, representative government, and addresses harmful stereotypes that misrepresent women and girls, that undercut or undervalue their contributions locally and globally. Wikipedia has also partnered with the UN to increase its content related to women and gender equality, to raise awareness, close the gender gap, and start changing and editing the future. This initiative also focuses on the strengthening of leadership of women in all spheres, as well as economic empowerment and skills development, investing in knowledge development and creation, and most important, promoting action on ending violence against women and girls. Ironically, Wonder Woman has had lasting appeal in the United States and beyond, even though she was extremely modern in dress and behavior, as described as the comic book conception. Her image has persisted despite alienating some traditional women in some parts of the world. But the Wonder Woman as Goddess Diana role first appeared in the comics, as you were told, in 1941, just as the Nazi movement was beginning its reign of terror in Europe. But in 2017 film, Wonder Woman's message of love is still the theme in the fight to triumph over hatred. The action figure's portrayal of goddesses in this film or comic books differs very little from the maternal or Mother Earth role for female deities in many religions. Thus, this divine role of Mother Earth as the life-given deity controlling the cycle of life is found in many religions. That role of Mother Earth is described in the widely used chant that begins with, "We come from the goddess, and to her we shall return." Other versions of the chant include the role of Father Sky or Father Sun, but the pagan version includes only the maternal role, which follows.
You don't have the words. I'll sing it. You sing it back to me. We all come from the goddess. We all come from the goddess. And to her we shall return. And to her we shall return. Like a drop of rain. Flowing to the ocean. Flowing to the ocean. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain. Flowing to the ocean, we all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain. Flowing to the ocean, we all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain. Flowing to the ocean, we all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain. Flowing to the
The offering this morning is taken in support of the Rampo-Lenape Nation, which serves to the underdeserved indigenous population of New Jersey and New York. All donations that are not specified as a pledge will be directed to the Rampo-Lenape Nation as part of today's special collection. Would the ushers please come forth?
every time we enter this sanctuary, we bring with us all of the realities of our lives. We bring our hopes and our joys and our tiredness and our worries and our wonderings and our woe. We bring it all in with us. We invite you now, as you wish, to come forward and light a candle representing your hopes and your worries as we hold each other tenderly in the quiet.
When I first wrote and entitled this poem, I was asked, are you sure you want to entitle the poem Becoming a Warrior, and using that word warrior? Because warrior, you usually think of fighting, killing, maiming. But when I wrote this poem, I wrote it to reflect hope, dreams, struggle, empowerment, and growth. We as women and men, we face numerous problems and challenges in our lives. In our workplace, we're mothers, fathers, caretakers, and in almost every facet of our lives, we meet challenges and struggles. In this poem, it's for each of us that are going through struggles, and it's to become a warrior. Full of hopes and dreams, afraid to be, the climb so steep, esteem so low, tears shed in the dark of night, nameless adversaries haunt my dreams, stand beside me during the light of day, silent, muted by my life. I hear a whisper as I look into the mirror. The power is within. I am strong. I can be a warrior. Years of life, living, experiences, struggles, opportunities behind the struggles. Rocky, narrow roads traveled. The end is near. Paths have cleared, choices to be made, new starts, new journey, even new battles. I will struggle, I will stumble. I may become weak and weary. I will rest, take a moment. I will not be broken. I lift my eyes to the sun, my heart to the universe, listening to the wind and riding the eagle's wings. I soar as I find my spirit, my empowerment. I am free. I am free to be. I have become a warrior.
Strength beyond what is believed to be humanly possible can occur when people are in life and death situations. Examples include parents lifting vehicles to rescue their children. This extra strength is commonly attributed to increased adrenaline production, though supporting evidence is scarce and inconclusive when available. It is thought that it is theoretically possible. Everyday people can become heroes through the power of love. During an earthquake, rescuers found a baby unscathed after being buried for 24 hours. His mother guarded him by kneeling down and pinning her head and hands to the ground. She even nursed him. Before she died, she wrote a text message to him on her cell phone. It said, "My dear child, if you survive, please remember, Mom loves you forever." While his mother became a hero during a disaster, we can be heroes to each other every day. An everyday hero is a leader who remains largely invisible, but whose acts of kindness make life better for others. The everyday hero is the person who smiles at you on an off day. It is the war veteran fighting for freedom and equality for all, as well as your friend, parent, or mentor sacrificing for your happiness. The everyday hero is within every single human being on this planet and is expressed by simple, ordinary actions. In the words of Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Heroes perform simple acts of love and empowerment. Every nod, every smile, every interaction has the power to change the course of someone's day. By curbing our ego, withholding judgment, encouraging instead of criticizing, we are empowering others to be who they are and to know their value and strength. So, what would it take for you to find and express your superpowers? How can you cultivate your inner hero?
Think less, feel more.
Your body knows an inner truth.
Tap into your intuition.
Delve into that which frees the mind and spirit. Prayer, meditation, yoga, whatever frees you.
Encourage and practice self-care.
Start where you are.
Live your life now.
Question the voice that says, I'm not ready.
Trust that you have a unique purpose.
The world needs the gifts only you have.
Be committed to living with awareness.
Be open, willing, and forgiving of yourself and others.
Live with reverence, gentleness, and love.
Consciously choose to let go of the past and tendencies that stand in your way.
Cultivate practices that reinforce and ignite your spirit.
Create community.
Align with light-spirited souls who nurture, inspire, encourage, support, and keep you authentic.
Join with others to uplift and empower downtrodden women and men and children.
Don't worry about what other people think.
Be bold.
Take risks.
Okay, don't worry about what other people think.
Clear your path and walk it courageously.
Spiritually empowered women and men are living fully in the present moment. They share, serve, and smile, and our world is better for their presence.
In a letter to his daughter, which was released in 2015, Albert Einstein wrote, "Life is a flow of love. Your participation is requested. It is our job to bring out the hero that lives inside each of us, making this world a better place." Oh, here, sorry. The actor, Christopher Reeve fit the part perfectly as the actor who played Superman in the movies. And then, in an instant, the magical life he knew ended as the horse he was riding balked at the jump, sending Christopher crashing to the ground. When he woke up in the hospital, he could not move his arms or his legs, and he could not breathe without a respirator. Even though he still had his strength, intelligence, and willpower, there was simply no way for him to move any part of his body. His wife, Dana, provided him with the will and strength to deal with this new life. In response to his verbalization of despair, Dana simply stated, "You are still you, and I love you." Before his accident, Christopher's challenges involved acting, directing, and sports. Now it took all his strength and determination just to sit up in his wheelchair and steer it by puffing on a straw. His heart ached with all he had lost, knowing that he might never again be able to hug his wife and sons. Dana helped him focus on the positive, the love of his family, and the money and the fame from his career. Christopher decided to use everything he still had to work for a new goal. Dana helped Christopher realize that even though he could no longer use his arms and his legs, he had a power that many people do not. Because he was famous, people wanted to hear his story. Christopher learned not to be embarrassed when he could not speak clearly or control his bodily movements. With Dana's encouragement, Christopher started speaking publicly, asking Congress to support stem cell research and sharing his experiences with others who suffered from spinal cord injuries. When he spoke during the Academy Awards, Christopher was showing everyone that although his physical abilities had changed, his heart and his soul were still strong and capable. When asked about being a Unitarian Universalist, Christopher answered, "It gives me a moral compass. I often refer to Abe Lincoln, who said, 'When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that is my religion.' I think we all have a little voice inside us that will guide us. It may be God, I don't know. But I think that if we shut out all the noise and clutter from our lives and listen to that voice, it will tell us the right thing to do."
Our Unitarian Universalist principles call on us to be a quiet place and to listen for our inner voice as we focus on achieving equity for women during Women's History Month. In our everyday actions, we will strive to empower women by appreciating their inherent dignity and worth, focus on gender equity as a social justice issue, encourage spiritual growth, search for truth and meaning freely and responsibly to achieve fairness in gender-related issues, use the democratic process to support equal pay and representation of women in all walks of life, support the United Nations gender equity goals to achieve a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect Mother Earth to support the interdependent web of all existence. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 1026 in the Teal hymnal.
Every woman
You may sit. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hand, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind the wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, compile with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world.